Good morning, good Monday morning, and welcome to Monday Morning Momentum. This is, as it says here, your path to achieving your goals. Here's the thing: what people can do and what they will do is often miles apart. Why is that? Well, I'd say mostly because it's a lack of clarity about what it is that you really, really want. And then also understanding that there are forces within you that may be fighting against you succeeding at the highest level. And it's our ability to break free of that limiting belief, those limiting ideas, and tap into who we really are, which is unlimited, that is going to allow us to live the life that we dream of. So, my name is Laurie McNaughton. I am your Scale Up Biz Coach. Now, we're going to revisit a previous subject today, in part because it's not enough to know, you have to do. It's through doing that you learn really what you're capable of doing versus, hey, I read this in a book someplace, or I saw it on a podcast, or I talked to somebody about it one day, and uh, yeah, I know it, but you're not doing it. Tony Robbins says this oftentimes to people at his seminars, and he says, somebody will say, I've tried everything. How many things have you tried? Hundreds of things. Okay, name two or three things you tried. They can't even name two or three things they tried. It's not about even, like, again, it's not enough to know. You have to do something. And it's not about trying, it's about doing. As Yoda said in Star Wars, how do you say that? Do not, no, not no, do, something to that effect. Anyway, let's dive into the subject matter here today. So it's called the six human needs. It's really what helps us understand what drives us. So I first learned this back in the mid 90s when I went to Tony Robbins Mastery University. Now, when I go through this subject, I really want you to think in two ways, really. I want you to think mostly about yourself, but then I want you to think, if you have a team of people that are working for you, how do you help fulfill these needs for those people? Now, it's not how you do it for them, it's how you help them fulfill it for themselves. So the six human needs are certainty. So on Maslow's hierarchy, that would be the very base of the triangle. And that is that most of your needs are being met. I can pay my mortgage, I can pay for my car payments, I can feed myself and my family, maybe pay for my kids' educations, that kind of thing. So you want to have a level of certainty that those things are going to be taken care of. And when you have that level of certainty, now you can express yourself in a different way. Now, as I said before, there's things that get in our way of succeeding at the highest level, and that's oftentimes ourselves. So understanding that, we also need to have variety. How do we get variety in our lives? Well, we push ourselves out of our comfort zones. Nothing of value other than just relaxation takes place in your comfort zone. And if that's all you want out of life is relaxation, hey, listen, all the power to you. But the vast majority of people need to have this variety because it excites them, it motivates them, it makes them feel like they're living their life. Now, the other third one is significance, and that means my life means something to somebody. And then, of course, love and connection. Here's the thing, and this is a well-studied phenomena. They call them blue zones around the world, and that's where high proportion of the population lives to be over 100 years old. And basically what it says is they eat very clean. So it's almost all produced. It's nothing. They don't buy processed food of any kind. They have to exercise because generally speaking, in these communities, they don't have the luxuries that we have. We drive to the grocery store and pick up our groceries. They don't drive to the grocery store and pick up their groceries. They go to their garden and they work in their garden, and they may have to, walk significant distances every day to fulfill their and feed their needs. And so the three things are clean eating, uh, exercise, and then love and connection. So if you look at your life, and here's the thing I'm going to say, if you want to have a happy, healthy life, make sure you're exercising, make sure you're eating healthy, and make sure you've got great connections with people. And then the fifth one is growth. We always need to be growing. That really ties in with the variety, because when you're growing, you're going to be, again, experiencing things that are outside of your comfort zone. And then contribution is that, what does that mean to, what does my life mean, or how can I be of help to others? Uh, the way I fill out my contribution is in part by the work that I do, because my work changes people's lives, but I also contribute to several charities each month, and contributing that way. And then in the past, I've done things like Big Brothers, Junior Achievement, Habitat for Humanity, that kind of thing. So make sure that you're looking at each one of these things and asking yourself the question, how am I consciously fulfilling these needs? Because if you don't consciously fulfill these needs, they will be unconsciously fulfilled, and it might not be in the way that you want it to be. So why human needs matter in business. So every decision we make is an attempt to meet one or more of these core needs, one or more of the 6 human needs. And understanding these needs helps leaders influence those people who work for them and inspire them and help them to coach them so that they can be more effective, not just at work, but in their lives in general. You help people become more effective in their lives in general, they'll be better at work, guaranteed. And in business, unmet needs often lead to disengagement, poor communication, and then burnout. Could be burnout, your own personal burnout. So these needs, their personality needs, are certainty, variety, significance, and love. And the more spiritual side of things, that contribution and growth. So let's unlock your potential. And then let's look at how do we unlock the potential of your team. So certainty. What is the description of certainty? Well, it's need for safety, stability, comfort, and predictability. I already talked a little bit about that. But in business, clear expectations, consistent routines, and job security will give your people a sense of certainty. And then the coaching insight is like too much certainty equals boredom, too little equals stress. So you don't want the people who come to work for you to get bored with what they're doing. So they need to be continuously growing as well. So how do you do that both at work, and how do you do that? How do you contribute to that in their personal life as well? And as it says here, if they have too little certainty, now they're going to be stressed out, maybe anxious. And I can assure you that people are never, never, never at their best when they're feeling anxious about their jobs. Oops. What did I do here? Let's go back. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Okay. So variety, it's really that need for change, some novelty in your life, some kind of new stimulus, whether that's doing some cross training, or maybe it's doing some different work at your work, helping out in a different department, that kind of thing. Or maybe it's pushing yourself up to a higher level. Like I was in sales for 15 years, outside sales for 15 years. And that was a big stretch for me at the time, because I was an anxious person. I would call myself introverted, but I don't know that I'm introverted more than I'm anxious about things. And so, I pushed myself all the time to step up to the plate. And I became so then 15 years was with 2 different organizations. I was a top performer in both organizations. And then I joined a business coaching franchise, international franchise, and I was part of them for 15 years. And there's another 15 years of really stretching myself, getting a lot of variety in my life, and it raised the bar, not just of expectations, but the bar of where I felt comfortable. So in business, you might be doing new projects, doing innovation. You should always be innovating in your business, by the way. How do I improve? How do we get better at servicing our customers? How do we improve our customer experience? How do we improve our experience for our employees? That will give a sense of variety, but it also helps, when you put people in those positions, it helps them grow. And as people grow, they just become better, both at work and at home. And that's what we ultimately want to do. It's not like come to in my workspace here, work for me, and I'm going to drive you insane while you're here in the hopes that I'll make a whole bunch of money while you're here. I don't care what happens to you when you go home. That's not what it's all about. And also having this flexible role, so also allowing people to experience different things can provide some variety in their business, pardon me, in their life and at work. So an coaching insight is balance variety with stability to avoid chaos and stagnation. So balance variety with stability. So that means giving them that sense of clarity and sense of feeling safe, but also pushing them just a little bit outside of their comfort zone so they continue to grow and be stimulated by that variety. Now, significance, the need to feel important, unique, respected, and special. Don't ignore this or ignore it at your own peril. I know even for businesses that, you have a lot of, say, low-level laborers. So people that they're not highly skilled positions, but they're vital to the success of your company. If these people don't show up or show up half-heartedly, it's going to play a significant role in the success of your business. So how do you make them feel significant? Listen, if I had a bunch of employees, low-skilled labor employees, what would I do? And I'm asking you the question of this is, what would you do to make sure that they feel some level of significance about the role that they play in your organization? One of the things, especially at that level in those positions, is that lots of times people, I don't feel like going to work today. I'm not going to show up for work or I'll phone in sick. These can be avoided by making them feel significant and also making them feel like they're having fun at work. People who feel significant and have fun at work are going to show up for work more often than not. And those that don't they got other problems that, need to be dealt with in a different way. So recognition, titles, leadership roles, that sort of thing. Make sure that those people that are, first of all, really good at their jobs, but also really good at working with other people. So they know how to build relationships with other people to move those people into more leadership roles. Just because somebody's really good at their job, if they aren't really good with people, do not move them into a leadership role. At least, don't take that giant step. You may want to nurture them through that process because the number one key in leadership is that people can work with other people and can empathize with other people and understand that it's not about me ordering you around. It's about me inspiring you to be the best that you can be. So a coaching insight here is when unmet people will act out to prove worth. I'm going to give you an example of this, really negative example of this. And it was a client of mine. It was people who work for him. So he has 2 locations. He's not in this location. He's in another location. And he had a supervisor who was looking after a group of people who work for them. When I walked into their shop one day, I could just hear these 2 people yelling at each other. And then I walked into the office, I could hear them yelling. And then I walked into the shop and I could see it was the supervisor and one of the employees trying to get significance over the other one by F-bombing each other, which is, I was looking at all of it because there was a whole bunch of people standing around listening to this and thinking about, okay, so this is a really toxic culture here right now. This is not a good thing. So, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, both the supervisor and that guy left the organization, and we put in new leadership and gave them some more training, and things have turned around dramatically there, where they now have a culture where people want to come to work and they're enjoying their work. So love and connection. This probably goes without saying too much, but it's really the need to feel some level of closeness to other human beings and unity and connection with others. And I talked about that in regards to having a happy, long, healthy life it's critical to have good relationships with other people. And so, um, if you struggle with stuff like that, here's the thing. There's a program called the Pursuit of Excellence. It goes on all over North America. I'm not sure where in all places, but I know here in Edmonton, at least they had a Pursuit of Excellence up, and they still may. I don't really know. I probably should look it up before I talk about it. But if you Google it, you'll find it. I would highly recommend that you either go through it yourself and or you put people on your team through it. And or, you can hire me to come in and do a team building day for you because I can definitely produce some of the same results that they get in that program. And if you do it for your whole team, you can have them really come together and connect with each other, which changes everything in a business organization. So it's about bonding with your team, empathy, and collaboration. The coaching insight is unmet connection equals disconnection in siloed teams and or siloed people, meaning, you got all these people that are on a team, but none of them work together. They just kind of tolerate each other. And, just by me saying that should be an indication enough for you to go, okay, yeah, you know what? It would be better if we had a team of people who worked together. Now, here's the thing. It can't be just all about fun, but it has to also be about respect. When you have leaders who understand what leadership is about, and leadership is about helping other people. And so when you help other people, you get respect. And that's what we want to have is that earned level of respect. Because once you have that, people look up to those people and they'll say, I'm having difficulty at work. Can you help me? Which is what we want people to do. We don't want people just to, closed in, don't get involved, don't, share or anything like that, and really become siloed. And when they're like that, it's like they feel like they're all on their own. So the fifth need is growth. And so it's the need to improve and learn and expand. And here's the thing. People don't always know that they need to improve and learn and expand. And by doing that, it's going to fulfill that need for them. But you understanding that first for yourself, where do I need to improve? What do I need to learn? And how do I expand as a business owner? How do I expand as a leader inside this organization so that I can help other people do the same thing? Here's the thing. And I say this all the time to business owners, and I say, if you could just get 10% more productivity out of every employee, how much would that impact have on your business? And if you got 10 employees or you got 100 employees, you can see the significance of that. And you don't get that by ordering people around, bossing people around. You get that by engaging with them. You get that by coaching them. You get that by leading them. When you do that, it will just automatically up their production, up their game. So training, feedback, stretch goals, if you're not having employee evaluations at least every quarter, start doing it today. And then, but you got to set goals with them. And so you got to know what those goals might be. If you're an electrical contractor, you were probably at one time an electrician. So when you were thinking about your role as an electrical contractor or electrician, what are some of the goals that you had? And they don't have to be goals necessarily around work, although they could be, if it's a journeyman or it's a, 1, 2, or third year apprentice. What are their goals? So when you understand those goals and help them to stretch and meet those goals, they're going to have another level of commitment to you and your company. So growth is essential for fulfillment. Stagnation leads to disengagement. So if you see a bunch of disengaged people working for you, then there's probably because they don't have any goals. So you got to help them set goals. Okay, so the last need is contribution. The need to give beyond oneself, make a difference. In business, it's purpose-driven culture, mentoring, and volunteering. Here's the thing. You can take your team, uh, maybe it's one day a month, maybe it's a half day a month, go down to the mustard seed and cook meals, or get them all and let's go down to Habitat for Humanity and help them build homes, or have them be part of junior achievement. People, people who have a purpose in life, first of all, they have a much more happy life. And secondly, because they understand that it's not just about them, it's about other people. Because it's all, and it's in my business, it's, in your business, it's the same thing. It's not about you, it's about them. When you help your team grow, when you help your team learn, when you help your team contribute more, when you help your team connect more, when you help your team have a sense of certainty about their jobs and their life going forward, and you also challenge them with uncertainty to help them grow, you have an amazing opportunity in front of you. So the question is, what becomes possible if I do that? What becomes possible in my business if I do that? Just imagine for a minute, if you could take 3 months off of your company and come back and go, wow, my company was more profitable, more efficient, more productive while I was on vacation versus what I would guess the typical small business owner would take a vacation and come back to fires that need to be put out. Coach people, train people, give them that leadership skill so that they take care of those challenges and problems. And you come back, wow, we made more profit this month than or this quarter than normal. And you always have to ask yourself this. You should really, if you own a business, what would happen if I was unable to come to work for 3 months? Ask yourself that question. Would your company still be there when you got back? Because, you never know. You could, get in a car accident and break a leg or something and make it impossible for you to work for a period of time. And I obviously don't wish that on anybody, but you got to ask yourself that question because if you don't ask yourself that question and something like that happens, then you come back to nothing. Versus right now, taking control and saying, you know what? I need to build this business so that it can function without me in case something should happen to me, and or I decide I want to sell this business. Because here's the thing about businesses and I've said this before in previous videos, a business that is profitable and runs really well, even when you're not there, is the most valuable asset for sale. If that business requires that you need to be there in order for it to function, then it becomes a lot cheaper. And I mean a lot cheaper. Because here's the thing, there's people who buy businesses because they go, hey, this is a business. It's got customers, but it's not very well run, doesn't have a really great team of people. So I'm going to buy that business because I know I can cover my costs while I fix all the problems that are in this business. And then I will sell it for multiples after I get to the point where it runs without me. I have a general manager in place and I don't need to be there. Then I turn around and I sell it for a nice, tidy little profit. But those people are not going to pay a lot of money for those businesses because they know they're going to have to put a lot of time and effort into creating the systems and processes that make them successful. But when somebody is an investor, so they go, I want to buy a business that I know is going to kick out a certain amount of profit each and every month. And then I go, okay, if I'm going to make $100,000 a month in profit or 50,000 or whatever that number is, then I know and I don't need to be involved with it other than to stop in there once a month or so and talk to the general manager and get the general manager involved in training sessions and stuff like that, then that business is way more valuable. Okay, so most fulfilling needs, tap into the legacy and impact. That's the coaching end of things. So, behavior equals attempt to meet a need minus examples. So what does that actually mean? Well, when you attempt to fill people's needs versus actually fulfilling their needs. So you got to look for examples of how you can do that in your business. Micromanaging may be a form of seeking certainty. Think about that. I am needed because I'm needed, I need to micromanage people. That's not a healthy situation. That's not a long-term viable situation for a healthy, profitable business. As I said, they can run without you. Overworking might come from chasing significance. So if you're overworking, you might be thinking, see, my business needs me to be there all the time. No, that's the wrong way to look at it. You want to go, my business doesn't even need me to be there, and it still makes money. That's the way you want to look at it. So, empowering versus disempowering ways, certainty, create routines, planning ahead, building financial stability. Disempowering is micromanaging, resisting change, avoiding risks. Variety. Actually, I'm not going to read this over because you can just pause this and read those over yourself and understand from your perspective how's this going to work for you. So last, what I would suggest is to identify your top two needs, whether that's significance or contribution or growth or love or variety, whatever that is for you, and then explore how you're currently meeting those needs. And then design better strategies. It's like say, well, actually, this is really fulfilling my need, and it's also helping me grow my business, then that's fine. But if it's really fulfilling your need, but it's holding your business back, now you need to find a new way to fulfill that need. Okay, design better strategies. Okay, so culture is created by consistently meeting people's needs, and use this tool to diagnose your entire business, how you can improve morale and productivity, and improve retention in your company. Recognize the contributions to satisfy significance, offer variety through cross-training and new roles, build certainty and structure into your communication. So, what drives you? Which two needs dominate your decisions? Takeaway, awareness leads to empowered choices for you and your team and your business. Always be thinking, how do we get better at what we do? How do I build a company that is profitable and fun and growing even when I'm not there? So let's unlock your potential for your team right now. Here's the thing. You can book a call with me. It is basically a discovery call, and I will just ask some questions about you and your business. I'd like to know more about your business, why you started your business, where your business is at today, and where you want it to be 5 years from now, a year from now, and talk about what's holding you back, what barriers or obstacles or beliefs that you might have that are holding you back. And if I feel like I can help, and I feel like you're like a student of business, that you're highly motivated and that you're like-minded, meaning you go, I want to explore, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to be the best, I want to have the best business that I can possibly have, then I'll offer you a complimentary coaching session, which is about an hour and a half, where I'll just dive in deeper, ask you a whole heap of questions so I can understand what the challenges are, what the causes of the challenges are, and then I'll talk about what the solutions are to those challenges. And then we'll talk about what you could expect as a return on investment. And if we believe there's a significant return on investment for you and you like the idea of working with me, and I like the idea of working with you, then we'll talk about a program that would fill your company's needs. So that's my time here today. I'll put the link to book this meeting in the description so that you can access the link. And I look forward to the opportunity one day to be of service for you and help you create something special for you and your family and the people who come to work for you, your team and your at work as well. Thanks, and have yourself an awesome day.